Awesome. So we are here. I'm just going to double check that we're definitely on. And yes, we are. So this is
Are we live? We're
awesome.
live.
We're live.
We're live.
Totally. So I am so pumped to be here today with my beautiful friend Beck Femia. And we were just discussing, we still actually haven't met in person, but we've known each other for like 6 years. And it really lights my heart up to be able to chat with Beck today, because I have seen such an incredible transformation in her over those last 6 years, literally just absolutely mind-blowing, with where she was to where she is now, and the experiences and the life that she has created for herself as well, I think would be so inspirational for so many women. And I think it's so important for us to open up ourselves to really hear other women's experiences and how they've actually created these for themselves. Because as women, being able to do that, it shines the light and, allows so many other women to step into that space as well for themselves. And so I made a decision. I'd been watching Beck for such a long time, and over the last 4 years saw this exponential trajectory happening for her. And I went, I want to figure out, I want to know what it is that she's doing, and I want to be a part of this. And the post that really kind of made me reach out to her was this incredible experience that she had planned for her leaders. And I went, A, I want to be there. I want to be part of that. And B, I want to be able to do that with my community as well, and really give women this incredible experience to step into creating more wealth for themselves, to overcome burnout, all of those things. And so I've been on this incredible journey with her since late December, early January, and it has already massively transformed my life. I know I had great money conversations with Beck as well, in terms of just up-leveling my money mindset, and being able to create a different relationship with money as well, because money truly gets to amplify who we are, and getting more money into the hands of heart-led entrepreneurs, women that really want to make a difference in the world and really give back and contribute in a massive way, is certainly part of my vision. And if that connects with you at all, well, I definitely invite you to really tune in to listen to this goddess, because she is absolutely full of wisdom. But just to hear her story will be so amazing as well. So Beck, I'll hand it over to you, my darling. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I would love to hear, where you were at before, and share with people, that transformation that you've experienced over the last 4 years as well for yourself.
Thank you for that introduction. That was amazing. I'm so honored to be here with you. And I feel like the world has, really supported both of us in coming together and being able to co-create and collaborate and really work on both of our visions, which is really like a shared vision. I really see, and I've absolutely adored working with you over the last 6 months. It's been so incredibly amazing. And I also know that we're just getting started, which is like even more exciting. Because it really is like this shared vision to empower women, and I think especially like kind of so crazy that like 6 years ago, maybe even longer, it might even been like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, that I started coaching with you, and you were my coach. And then now, all this time later, 6-7 years later, and now I'm getting to coach and mentor you, and we're getting to co-create together. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I love what you coach on, because it's, that like burnout, it's got so much to do with my story and why I decided to do this business and become a mentor and really do what I do, because I went through burnout, right? Like I went through that experience of just like losing everything and just having nothing left. And so it's such a deep, burning desire and passion of mine to really support women in owning their worth, owning their wealth, like owning their voice, expressing their truth, and looking after themselves and nourishing themselves, and coming from a place of like being full and really taking care of themselves as number one. So that's pretty much, that's what you do and what you teach and what you support women with. So this kind of partnership has just been so beautiful. And we also get to really not just teach and coach and mentor people in this, but we actually get to give them a vehicle for them to create it. And I know already you started making money, and you you see this vehicle as your legacy, and really creating that spaciousness for you to actually create legacy wealth and really step into that place. So I am super excited about like what we're creating, what we're birthing, and all the incredible women that we're really bringing into our tribe and into our sisterhood, with just this shared vision to empower women. So it's super, super exciting. But I guess I'll take you back 4 years where my life definitely didn't feel like it did now. And, we like to talk about where we were before, I think, because it's so powerful. It's very easy to look at people and be like, oh, but you have all of this stuff now, and you've created this, and you're here, and you're a leader, and you're making this money. I could never do that. And it's like really so beautiful when we can actually just see ourselves in each other and really understand that we're all going through the same stuff, and we all hit rock bottom, and we all have these experiences that, take us out, but also support us in really moving forward in the best way. So 4 years ago, I mean, I was in a very different situation, and I feel like I had hit rock bottom, and I felt really, really broken. I was, in network marketing. I was successful in network marketing. I was, making good money, but I was completely burnt out. I was like so in that like hustle squad, like, just working nonstop because I had to. The business model that I was part of made me, and I had to really just like work constantly to be able to create this freedom lifestyle and not have a job. And I really thought that was like the thing, I was like, oh, but I don't have a job and I can travel the world, and like I have this freedom lifestyle. But it was like I actually really didn't. I was really like burning myself out. So I was actually living in Bali, living the laptop freedom lifestyle, and I got sick with a parasite. I moved back to America because I was living there with my partner at the time, and we fell pregnant, and I had a miscarriage at 12 weeks. And he was away. I ended up in hospital for 3 days on my own in America, which was just a very, very traumatic experience for me, both emotionally, physically, all of that. He came back, we broke up. Then we went through this really, intense experience of being cyberbullied, on social media, which is such a huge thing sometimes that can happen, in this wild world of social media. And I was just like honestly at my rock bottom. I moved back to Australia and moved back in with my beautiful mum, who took me in at 37 took me back in, moved back in with my mum. And honestly, I didn't get out of bed for like 6 months. Like I was grieving. I was really just like the parasite had just sucked the life out of me. I really hit rock bottom. I was burnt out. I was just exhausted. And I really got to see that, like, if I didn't show up and if I didn't hustle and work nonstop, then my business just didn't make money. And I say that like it was the best thing that ever happened to me, which is always, for most people, a little like challenging. Like, what are you talking about? It sounds like the most awful time in your life. But I feel like what happens when we strip everything back and we feel like we lose everything, we get to really rebuild in a way that's more in alignment with like our values and our priorities. And it kind of like, I think sometimes we get so caught up in like what we're supposed to do and getting to this place and achieving this and what success looks like, that, when we're really just in survival mode and we're kind of like fighting for our life, it's like, what is actually really important? Like, what does success mean to me? Like, how do I want to feel? How do I want to live my life? Like, what is the priority for me? And so it actually took me on a beautiful journey of figuring out that I wanted to make a hell of a lot more money because I wanted to have a lot of spaciousness, in my life. I wanted to work way less because I was sick of being burnt out. I think I actually went through burnout twice in the 4 years previously of just like really, hustling hard. And I just really wanted to like feel a certain way. For me, it was a lot about feeling after really going through those depths of like trauma and grief and sadness and all these things, you know, like my biggest thing was like bliss and ease and flow and happiness and contentment and peace. You know, I really wanted to feel that. So when I found this business and it was like automated, tick, time freedom, it was like high ticket, tick, you know, I can make a really like I can make a lot of money, and I can really actually start building conscious wealth, which is also really, really important. And I can do it in a way that is based on who I am, you know, like who am I really? That was a big thing with my last business, because it was a health, you know, company. It's like everything had to be health related, and my body was my business card. And you know, when I wasn't feeling in that, you know, health state, it was like
hard. Yeah, when you're going through burnout, and
when you're going through burnout, it's really hard to talk about being energized and like feeling freaking amazing.
Totally.
And I was like, I just want to show up as myself, like in the real, in the raw, like through all the different seasons, through all the different things that I'm actually experiencing. And I want to be able to talk about that. I want to be able to share my wisdom, and I want to be able to really be authentic. You know, I think that's something that a lot of us deeply desire, but based on, you know, our jobs or our businesses or being put in boxes, there's all these masks and this inauthenticity that we feel. And I feel like that is actually what takes us out of alignment a lot of the time, you know? So being able to kind of like this whole concept of like me being my brand and like all the things that I loved and that were a priority for me and the things that I valued and my belief systems and my wisdom that I had to share was really what was the truth of like how I got to actually build a business and make money. Was just like, I mean, this is freaking amazing. So I, you know, very, very quickly just made that decision. It really was just a decision. Like, I'm not going to live my life like this anymore. Like, I'm going to make a bucket load of money. I'm going to have a bucket load of fun. I'm not going to work like this and hustle like this ever again. And I really just like, that was my only thing that I wanted to do, you know. And through the process of that and coming into such an incredibly aligned business and incredible leadership, and I think just like the tribe and the sisterhood and the energy of what we do and who we're really impacting is so strong. It kind of goes beyond the vehicle, right? Of like the vehicle is amazing, but like who we become. And I was actually on an interview before this, and, you know, she was like, you know, did you start off by wanting to, you know, be this visionary and help women like heal generational trauma and, you know, support them in really stepping into their queendom and having a voice? And I was like, no, I did not. Like, I wanted to make money and I didn't want to work as hard. Like, that was literally how it all started. And I think once you kind of have time and financial freedom, there's a lot of spaciousness that is created for you to really then step into all of that. And I feel like that's really what happened for me, and the journey of who I've become and the wisdom that I've been able to share with, you know, with thousands and thousands of women now because of that. It's like, I didn't plan on it. And I think it just, you know, having that time and financial freedom creates room for you to really be able to like move into that. And that's why I'm so passionate, you know, about what we do and about really supporting women to actually see what is possible with financial freedom and with time freedom, and what that allows you to do in your life, and what that allows you to actually, you know, create and contribute to, and how much that really supports you in living this like epic aligned life that's just like fun and free and luxurious, and the spaciousness, like we were just talking about before, to spend a whole weekend, you know, in bed if you feel like it because you're feeling a little bit tired, and really move into a space of supporting, you know, this planet, like of us actually really moving forward in a different way. And I think as women especially, we've very much been kind of conditioned and programmed to like have to keep up with, you know, how men work and really be in our masculine, and we just don't work like that. You know, we have different gifts of like what we're here to really contribute to the planet and be in a space of like nurturing and wisdom and all this beautiful stuff. And I truly believe, because this is my own lived experience, but I feel like if you don't have any time, and if you don't have any money and you don't have financial security and financial freedom, you really don't have the space for anything else but to be in survival. So it's like keeping everyone small, keeping everyone stuck, keeping everyone just kind of like living their life on autopilot.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of like, what am I here to do? How can I contribute? How can we come together? How can we come together in community? How can we actually like move and evolve the planet in going in the direction of love and peace and all of this incredible stuff that we want? But I feel like there's a lot of women, especially out there, with their gifts still like laying up inside of them, trying to look after everyone else, trying to kind of be, this epitome of like what a woman's supposed to do, and just trying to kind of survive. And I feel like we're just missing out on so many people's unique gifts that they have to offer the world. And so this business for me is really about supporting people with a vehicle, for them to really be able to do that. And I know that you know that because you've already had your divine experience of who you've been able to step into and what you've been able to create, from that. And I think it's just like as time gets on, I could never ever imagine that I would be where I am today, like 4 years ago. And I could never even imagine that I could contribute, to other women and the world in the way that I do now 4 years ago. So it's such a cool journey that we get to take ourselves, and we get to take, other women on, so that we can just friggin' breathe.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I definitely agree, like being in survival, it just squashes your creativity so much, because there's, like you said, there is no space, there is no ability to go, oh, what does my heart want to share with the world, when you're like, oh my God, I've got to, get it all done, get the money in, get all this happening.
Like you're just consumed with, there's no energy.
So much contraction. Absolutely. Yeah. Like living from that state as well. Definitely. Yeah. And it's been so amazing. And I think that's what really inspired me the most, was just watching your transformation back over the years of who you've really stepped into and being able to become as a result of creating that spaciousness for yourself, but then also in the true embodiment of leadership as well, in really being able to, set those clear boundaries, create that spaciousness for yourself, not just through financial freedom and through time freedom, but also through honoring who you are as a person and what it is that you are here to share with the world in that particular way as well, which has just been so...
Well, yeah. I truly believe that when we're full and nourished, and when we're in our creativity, especially for women, creativity and pleasure is really our anchor, right? That's where everything comes from. So like when we are nourished and we are vibrant and we are, in our pleasure and in our creativity, we can create so much epic stuff. So it's like we have to come first. Like that has to come first, because everything kind of comes from that. And I think we've been doing it the opposite. We're like trying to like do all these things so that we can have that. And it's like all of that gets created by us being full and being in that energy, being in that frequency, which is our natural state of being.
Totally. Yes. Except it seems more normalized to be, burnout, stressed, exhausted, busy, the
everybody else is
100%. Yeah.
Like, oh, but everyone's busy. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. And oh, I'm so stressed out and I'm so frazzled. It's like, why are you choosing that? Like, that's not your natural state. That is also a lot of trauma and patterns and, different things playing out of, that's been one of the biggest things that I've been able to do from creating the spaciousness in this business and creating that, unlimited income, because I've been able to go on retreats and sit in plant medicine and work with healers and give myself the time to process and integrate and embody all of this stuff. And without that space, it's impossible to do, because you don't even have time to think about it, let alone do it.
Absolutely, 100%. And speaking about that as well, like I know that one of the things that I was also like really inspired by was the legacy income, to be able to create even more spaciousness, because as you speak about, you're not really financially free until you've created that next level of passive income, that's coming in month to month as well. And certainly for me, as a mum of two girls, they're 19 and 21 now, but being able to create something that I can pass down to them, in terms of like for family legacy is just, that is something that's really on my heart as well. But why do you think that that's also really important, not only wealth creation, but also legacy income as well for women there?
Yeah, the legacy is like, and legacy means so many different things, it's like
Totally.
the legacies that we leave, but I think like creating that legacy wealth and also wealth consciousness, because it's not just the money, right? It's like, okay, you can have all this money and you can like leave it to your kids and you can leave it to your family, but without this beautiful understanding of wealth and wealth consciousness that comes from you when you've changed your relationship with money, when you've been able to create passively and you've shifted your mindset from, there's never enough and having to hustle and having to work really hard to receive money, that's also a huge legacy that you're
totally passing down.
Right? It's like the generational like understanding of wealth and also them knowing that they're worthy of it, and having that safety net of being able to create all these passive streams. And when you start creating all of these passive streams of income, you actually start to really understand that it is like money is everywhere and it's very easy to receive. And, it really supports you in shifting that belief system that we have all pretty much grown up on, like money doesn't grow on trees and money's hard to come by and there's never enough. And so creating this like legacy wealth with our business, I think it's so beautiful to have for your family to pass down for generation to generation. And by doing that, you're also passing down the belief systems and the relationship with money and really feeling deserving and worthy of having this life full of choice and full of freedom and being able to be taken care of and, having always enough, like that energy just in itself of really being supported by money. For me, money is just a resource. It's a beautiful energy that I, get to play with, but it's a support tool. Like money supports me in everything that I do, which is why I adore and love money. And I'm in such a beautiful relationship with money because it literally supports everything that I want to do. It's such an incredible resource for me to like really live into my highest purpose and have a life that just like lights me up and feels good. And it's like, isn't that the point? Like, isn't that why we're here? What we're supposed to be doing? Like, that's the whole point. So that aspect of really like legacy wealth and conscious creation and the relationship with money is such an important piece for us to pass down to our future generations so that they don't have to go through what, we went through with our belief system around busy and burnout and putting ourselves last and, being in like having everything being scarce. And that's not the energy that we want to give to our future generations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny because I was having a hilarious conversation with my girls the other day and just saying, I'm so sorry, you're going to have some really screwed up money beliefs because you've seen me in the hustle and the burnout and I've got to work really hard. And
but you're like, but I'm going to change it. I'm working on changing it.
And then they've seen me in absolute flow and alignment and, receiving is easy and everything else. And so I'm like, you guys are going to have it. You haven't, at least you haven't just got the negative, I guess. But it's like...
they got both. So then they can like start to, really choose and support themselves. And it's all Absolutely. A choice,
and doing our own inner work around it.
Yeah. It's just a choice. And I talk about this a lot. It's really just a choice. Like you can grow up in any situation and take on any belief. It doesn't actually really matter like what it is, even if it's positive, even if it's negative, like there gets to be a point where you take radical self-responsibility and ownership over what you choose for your life and how you choose to show up and what you continue to believe about the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. And I know for me as well, like as a woman, going from being in, a 14-year relationship that, felt very controlling, like around money, and being able to create, like at first I was absolutely terrified when, that all broke down and then I found myself as a single mom. but a bit like you, like it was the most, hardest thing that I've probably ever went through. I was only earning like $300 a week in a part-time job at the time when I first became a single mom. And, I was paying private school fees for my kids. Like there was just like a whole lot. And I'm like, man, I got to figure this out, and I got to figure it out quick. But there was such a renewed confidence that came through me being able to create my business, to six figures. Like that was just mind blowing to me. And it was just like, I would never have done that had, I'd not been forced into that situation, because I was pretty comfortable before. And so
it's amazing what women can do. That's what I think this
just
business more than anything does. Like we have the vehicle to make a lot of money with a lot of automation, ease and flow. And I know you're going to give people the opportunity to come and actually check out what we do. But I feel like what we actually really do is we pour belief into women so that they build the confidence to know, like, we are so freaking powerful as women. Like, absolutely. So powerful. And I think more than anything, we've actually forgotten that. And I feel like what this community, what this business, what this vehicle does is actually just shows women how powerful they are, what they can create, and to be able to like build that confidence back into themselves.
Absolutely. And when you do that, you just value yourself at another level, like you respect yourself at another level. There is a whole plethora of life changes that happen from a result of stepping into that power.
And in every area of your life, it's like,
that's what I'm meaning.
Money,
like relationships,
with your relationships, with men, and allowing men to fully like support you in a different way without having that like neediness or feeling like you can't do anything, without the masculine,
or feeling guilty. Yeah, like
it becomes this beautiful like co-creation again of just like just so much magic that comes from you really respecting and yourself and loving yourself and feeling worthy and feeling capable. I think that's one of the biggest things for like women, especially, of just like, we are so capable. And when we realize how capable we are and we really, allow ourselves to shine, then we can do anything.
Absolutely. 100%. Reese Witherspoon comes to mind. There was a thing that she spoke about where she didn't want to play, the female that was like, oh no, what shall we do? Let's get a man.
The damsel in distress.
She's like, no, I'm all about creating. She's like, what woman do you know that would ever say that? Like, legit. Like, it's just like, get out of the way, I'll take care of it, it'll be done. And I think we do forget that a lot. And
I think that's why it's so important, for me especially, to be a role model, to give other women permission to see what is actually possible. And I think as women, we have an opportunity to do that. I know you do it. I know so many women in our community do it. And I know it's a really big piece of like why we do what we do, because we really are being new role models for how to make money, how to do business, how to be a woman, how to, honor ourselves, and how to focus on self-care, and how to do all of these things in an empowered way, so that we can really give other women permission to be like, that's what I aspire to be like. Like that's what I want. And just having more positive role models that are, not this like, oh, all men are, crap and we can do anything and we're going to take over, like that. I'm not into that either.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's about supporting the divine masculine as well, like, or loving and appreciating. Yeah, but the differences and our own inner gifts and strengths as women, absolutely.
Yeah. And our part to play, right? Just with the masculine, and like, we don't have to outdo anyone. We get to just like be ourselves, and we have nothing to prove anymore. And, we don't have to do things that the way that we've had to in the past. And I think that of like creating a new narrative and creating a new paradigm for women to be able to fully step into that in union with this beautiful divine like masculine and what our roles are. I think that's where we're really heading in to this new way, for women especially. And I think the more role models that we have for that, and the more permission we can give to other women, then we're just going to start to see it becoming normal, which it's not really right now.
Yeah no, I totally agree with you. And being able to really celebrate everyone's success as everyone is rising and lifting and stepping into that new paradigm for themselves as well, which is so beautiful. So yeah, definitely agree. And so if you are sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, what is this vehicle? You know, what is this business? And you'd love to find out more in terms of how you might be able to be supported to be able to create an online income, to have that epic freedom. But not only that, like everything that Beck and I have spoken about, like in terms of the legacy income, really getting to transform and step into greater confidence for yourself, loving who you are, that self-nurturing, creating that spaciousness for your own inner gifts to be able to share that with the world. If all of that is lighting your heart up, drop
lighting
a comment
my heart
below.
up. Yeah. Yes.
Like, yes, drop a comment below and or send me a DM and let's get you hooked up with the masterclass. The teachings are like absolutely transformational. Definitely some great stuff around money mindset and all the ways that we can kind of minimize ourselves with those self-limiting beliefs and how to actually overcome that, burn your old identity and really
burn it to the ground.
Totally done that several times myself, and really step into this new way of being and see what's possible for you. We would love to really support you in that journey. Yes, definitely reach out and we can get you access for that masterclass as well. So we'd love to connect with you, and just want to say a huge gratitude from my heart to yours, Beck, for being here with us today and sharing your beautiful wisdom and your epic story as well. And I know you've truly been an amazing and incredible role model for me, and it was the witnessing of your transformation that really made me just go, yep, I so want to spend more time with this woman. And
now we get to.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, helping to spread the word, empower others to really step into that level of freedom for themselves as well is just,
which you are now doing. Now you
powerful.
are being the permission slip and the role model for so many others. So I'm truly grateful, you know, that we get to do this together. I'm so excited about what we're creating and what we're birthing, you know, in this space. So thank you so much for having me. Always
my absolute pleasure. Lots of love to everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And as I mentioned before, either drop a comment below or send me a DM, and we can definitely get you hooked up with the masterclass if this resonated with you today. So have an amazing day, everyone. Let me just end this now. Now I've clicked off the wrong thing.